Have you ever felt that gut-wrenching moment when you realize the person you trust most is betraying you? That feeling like the world is crumbling beneath your feet? Today, I want to share a story about Mark and Sarah, a couple who seemed to have it all, but beneath the surface a storm was brewing. This isn't just a story about heartbreak. It's about what it means to find strength when you feel completely broken. It's about how one man waited for the perfect moment, not for revenge, but to show what true strength really looks like. Mark and Sarah had been married for 12 years. They had two beautiful children, a lovely home in the suburbs, and what appeared to be a picture-perfect life. Mark worked long hours as an architect to provide for his family, pouring his heart into every blueprint, dreaming of the future he was building for them. Sarah was a stay-at-home mom, involved in the kids' school and community events. To everyone who knew them, they were the ideal couple. But perfection is often just an illusion. Lately, Mark had noticed a change in Sarah, a distance that felt colder than the winter air. She was often on her phone, smiling at texts, but her smiles no longer reached her eyes when she looked at him. When he'd ask who she was texting, she'd brush it off, saying it was just a friend from her book club. She started having more girls' nights out and attending late-night yoga classes he'd never heard of before. Mark wanted to believe her. He loved her, and trust was the foundation of their marriage. But a seed of doubt had been planted, and it was starting to grow, its roots wrapping tightly around his heart. The turning point came on a Tuesday evening. Mark came home early, hoping to surprise Sarah and the kids. But as he pulled into the driveway, he saw her car was gone. The kids were with a babysitter who mentioned Sarah had left for a last-minute errand. A wave of unease washed over him. Acting on an instinct he couldn't ignore, he opened the family's shared tablet. Her messages were synced. And there it was, a thread of conversation with a man named Alex. The messages were filled with, "I miss yous," "I can't wait to see yous," and plans for secret meetings. The final message sent a chill down his spine. "He has no idea. See you tonight at our spot." The world stopped. The blueprints for his future, the life he had so carefully designed, shattered into a million pieces. In that moment, a storm of emotions raged inside Mark. Anger, betrayal, deep, profound sadness. He wanted to scream, to break something, to confront her the second she walked through the door. His first instinct was to call a lawyer, to pack his bags, to burn it all to the ground. But as he sat there in the silence of his home, surrounded by photos of happier times, another thought emerged. A quieter, stronger thought. What would that solve? An explosive fight would scar their children. Revenge would only consume him, turning his heartbreak into bitterness. He looked at the pictures of his kids, their smiling, innocent faces. They were the most important thing. He realized that true strength wasn't about lashing out. It was about control, patience, and protecting what truly mattered. So Mark decided to wait. He didn't confront her. Instead, he started planning. Not a plan for revenge, but a plan for his and his children's future. He began to gather evidence, not to shame Sarah, but to protect himself and ensure a fair outcome for the kids. He quietly consulted a lawyer to understand his rights and options. He started setting aside money, creating a safety net for himself and his children. He was meticulous, calm, and deliberate. On the outside, he was the same loving husband. He'd ask about her day, help with the kids' homework, and maintain the facade of their perfect life. But inside, he was forging a new kind of strength, one built on resilience and self-respect. Each day of waiting was a testament to his incredible self-control. Weeks turned into a month. Sarah, oblivious, continued her secret life, growing bolder with her lies. She seemed to think Mark was naive, completely unaware of her betrayal. Meanwhile, Mark was building his new foundation, brick by brick. He spent more quality time with his children, creating memories that were just for them. He rediscovered old hobbies he'd let go of, reconnecting with the person he was before all the heartbreak. He was preparing not just for the end of his marriage, but for the beginning of his new life. He was proving to himself that his identity wasn't just Sarah's husband. He was a father, an architect, a man of integrity, and he was going to be okay. The day finally came. It wasn't a day of anger, but one of quiet resolution. It was their anniversary. Sarah had suggested a fancy dinner out, probably to ease her own guilt. Mark agreed. He arranged for his parents to watch the children. That evening, at a quiet corner table in a nice restaurant, Sarah raised her glass for a toast. "To us," she said, a practiced smile on her face. Mark met her gaze, his own eyes calm and clear. He didn't raise his glass. Instead, he gently slid a manila envelope across the table. Confused, Sarah opened it. Inside were printed copies of her text messages with Alex, bank statements showing her spending on hotels, and a legal document. It wasn't an angry letter. It was a proposed separation agreement, thoughtfully drafted by his lawyer. It was fair, focused entirely on the well-being of their children and an amicable split of their assets. Sarah's face went from confusion to shock, then to pale horror. She started to stammer, to make excuses, to deny, but Mark just held up a hand, stopping her. "Sarah," he said, his voice steady and devoid of malice, "I know everything. I've known for a while. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to yell or cause a scene. My anger has passed. All that's left is the need to do what's right for our children and for me." He continued, "True strength isn't about hiding or lying. It's about facing the truth, even when it's ugly. And it's about handling the fallout with dignity and respect, not for the person who hurt you, but for yourself and the people you love. This is me choosing a better future for our kids and for myself. This is my strength." In that moment, Sarah saw it. She saw that Mark's silence hadn't been weakness or ignorance. It had been his power. He hadn't been a victim. He had been a strategist, a protector. He had taken the most painful experience of his life and used it not to destroy, but to rebuild with integrity. He showed her that true strength isn't found in loud, angry confrontations. It's found in the quiet, steady resolve to protect your peace, to act with honor, and to choose a path of dignity, even when you're walking through fire. Mark walked out of that restaurant, leaving the past behind and stepping firmly into his future, a future he had carefully and strongly built for himself. This story is a powerful reminder that our reaction to betrayal defines our character. We can let it break us, or we can use it to build ourselves up stronger than before. Mark chose strength. He chose his children. He chose himself. What did you think of Mark's approach? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe for more content that explores the complexities of life and the power of the human spirit. We'll see you in the next video.